Hello, dearest gentle listener. I'm here in Kathmandu right now. I recently experienced my first Holi ever, and this video is about me sharing my heart about the celebration and what feelings did it provoke, how was it for me. Even though this is a get ready video, it's not gonna be centered so much around the beauty routine. My camera stopped functioning, the storage was full, so now I'm just showing what I already did on the video when it was recording with the camera that was actually not recording, But yeah, let's start with me telling who I am. I'm Sofia Malkamäki from Finland. I'm here as a tourist. Usually I do art and lifestyle content. Lately it has centered a lot on my spiritual journey with Jesus. Yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you. Let's start with my expectations for the celebration. My expectations were naturally based on movies and information that could be found from the internet before experiencing Holi for the first time. I've loved Bollywood movies when I was a teenager, and some things culturally surprised me as a Finn, and I want to share thoughts on these aspects because I had not taken them fully into account when preparing for this holiday. The rule of the holiday / the concept. First I'm gonna explain that, so then it's easier to explain the rest. Kind of like my tips how to prepare or what things to take into account, since I wasn't able to do that myself, even though I tried to prepare as well as I could. Of course, I did take a little big of a bite by celebrating this first time ever in a capital city, Kathmandu. The whole concept is based on joy and colors and celebrating life, and people do it, and I participated in doing it by putting splashes of color to one's face and wearing white, and then when you go to the streets, people might have water guns and they can shoot you with them freely if you have the colors. The colors on your face are kind of to show other people that you're involved in the party. And then it's very usual that people come especially to your neck and your cheeks to do the happy Holi and put the little powder of color there. And in the movies, it usually looks like people just throw the powder in the air, and that was kind of what I was expecting more. I was expecting more music, more dancing, and more colors thrown into the air. But instead, it was very, very touchy-feely, very much people just coming face to face to encounter you and just touch your face. Put the color powder on your neck or cheeks or forehead or head. And some people, of course, were not that careful with it, but many people first asked permission and did it in a, hey, you're looking so pretty, wow, happy Holi. Can I? Whoa. Yeah, I ended up going to crowded space twice. Partly because my touristic ass wanted to document it for this video, but also with my eyes and my ears as a memory. And I loved how the most crowded places actually had the color thrown into the air. So that's why it was very special for me to experience that part. But the negative part is that I did read beforehand that harassment is more common during Holi. And I did read it many times, but I didn't know how to prepare for it. Of course, it's understandable since the whole concept and kind of the rules of the holiday already break the physical touch barrier that we usually have in society, that you're not just supposed to go and touch somebody's face. But I feel I'm not gonna go so much into the detail of the reasons behind why some people might want to take advantage of this holiday. I have my own speculations that are actually also connected to the background of the celebration and the fact that I'm white. But I don't want to go into that much because it's just in my head, let's say. But I encountered a harassment experience, and this is a trigger warning that now I'm gonna talk about it openly, so people can be aware that what it might look like and feel like and exactly be like. So I got powder, like a fistful of powder shoved into my lungs and nose, like my airways, when I was trying to protect myself already from the colors. I was probably not anymore like looking positive, looking like, yeah, you can do this. I was like literally trying to hide my face. And I did not think about the fact that I had a scarf on me. I could have put the scarf on my air pathways, but I didn't also expect or anticipate that something like that could happen. Afterwards, I had a slight panic attack, and because naturally, like for a moment, I could not breathe before I had coughed out the powder out of my lungs and nostrils, and it gave me like flu kind of a symptoms, like, and this stinging feeling from the color, which was purple. So for a moment I had like a purple flu that I had to cough and sneeze, and yeah. Afterwards, I haven't had any health symptoms at all from this experience, so let's count me as a lucky person. But it did scare me, especially as a Finnish person. I'm not used to even letting people have the freedom to touch me without permission. And in that holiday, the regular boundary was already kind of like compromised in a sense. So for me, the whole experience is also colored by the very different cultural background when it comes to like physical touch in general. So that must and definitely does affect my experience. But also I do feel like that experience might have been a shitty person that I encountered, because 99% of the people were able to celebrate it in a manner that respected a person's physical like feelings, because we all can agree that that type of an experience is not what anyone goes there to long for. That's not the type of an encounter that creates positive connection. That's the type of experience that I only use the word harassment for, because it well describes and it well validates also the feelings of doubt and shame that provoked in me afterwards. Also aggression towards men. And I do not, and I will not, be a person who wants to hold on to anger. I did hold and guard my limits and keep a scarf on me later, much more in a protective way. I said no in a very straight face, and if somebody still brought their hands towards me, I blocked them, sometimes in a way that wasn't very polite, let's say. So I have needed to process the way how it affected my kindness towards other people and my trust towards other people's good motives. Honestly, afterwards, my tip would be maybe to save this type of celebration to be celebrated with people you know and trust and care for, because it is very intimate. Luckily, in the evening, we ended up going to just sit and meet with my friends' friends, and they were men who were safe and respectful and kind and beautiful souls. So I felt like that was the perfect ending for the day, that I was able to even process the experience with some safe men. and it gave me the release of the trauma that it was just a one-time nasty experience, but it doesn't have to define the way how I perceive the culture in general or the people in general, because even in Finland I'm very, very, very certain that many girls have somewhat similar experiences just by going into a bar or a festival where people might get drunk, you know. When we were in the evening with the guys, one of them, we ended up discussing the traffic, and one of the men showed the car that he had been inside after an accident, and I said to him that I'm scared for his safety. And he replied with a sentence that actually stuck with me very much. I felt like it was like an answer to the feelings that I was going through right then and there. He replied that he was extremely lucky. Imagine what could have happened. And that attitude right there, I think, tells a lot about gratitude towards life, even if bad things happen. That mindset helped me so much, and I will hold on to it in life in general. Instead of seeing ourselves as intouchable to all bad, as it should be so, what if I saw my incidences even as privileged as they truly are? Harassment sure was a hard thing to experience, but it made me connect with my Creator a lot differently. How did Jesus feel at the cross, truly, carrying my shame and pain, even this, like pondering on the feelings and emotions that he must have had, humble me so much, because that was something so much less privileged than any of my problems ever have been. He has left me with such a privileged, beautiful little life to experience, and I will not have it that one little tiny negative detail would eat me up, ever. I promise that I will make it my legacy to fight as hard as I can, to be as positive and grateful as I can. Not because I have to, but because I get to. In my previous video, somebody asked in the comment section whether I've come here to strengthen my faith in Jesus Lord, our Savior, or whether I'm here to explore different options for my beliefs. And I think this whole experience and what adapting to a different culture has provoked inside me tells a lot about the end result. I think it has been super important to integrate myself with the culture properly by listening, by communicating, by also blending in, and it gives me a lot of joy because I really love. I'm deeply feeling myself when I'm getting to explore this side of me, because it has been also inside me when I was young, even though I don't look like a girl who would have pieces of her soul in these regions, but like you can see that overall this like party for me as well was shaded with a lot of joy, with a lot of happiness, even though you can also see me ranting about the feelings that were provoked when my physical, like, you know, boundaries were less than usual. So I think this celebration really represented how life has good happiness, and with the celebration of life we encounter also the bad. But what's the outcome? Is it bitterness? Is it still joy? Is it wisdom? What things have grown out of the like experience of it all? I think that is up to us, you know? It's not up to anyone but us. And truly, I do say that there's nothing dangerous that the world could have against me, because even in the moment of my death, I will be redeemed. I will be saved. I will be put into my rightful place. And saying that aloud and feeling like that is a sense of certainty that only comes from the God that I have. At least for me, that is so true. Thank God for that. Whoa, this went deep AF. Bye bye.